No, he's pretty good. Has anyone heard of the WTCA who's here, seen it online? Can you just put a hand up? He has. He's got a great hat. Okay, so you kind of seen what it's all about. So basically, I coach currently on the WTA Tour. The one out the back warming up, so she puts on her best performance, Alexa Glatch, is a player that I coach, but she's been injured for quite a few years, on and off. Right now, she's trying to rehab to get back on tour. And some of the reason that I started the WTCA was to do with that, because I didn't really understand the differences, even though I'm female, physiologically, and the way our bodies are compared to men. So to do with the Q angles and certain things she was doing with her hips have led to her having a significant number of injuries. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. This year at Wimbledon, I was coaching Alexandra Krunic, who's number 39 in the world. 2 weeks ago, she won her first WTA title, which was awesome. So if you see WTCA online, you'll see a lot about that. And why I really wanted to start WTCA is there's a serious lack of female coaches on the tour, and we have a lot of guys here, and the WTCA is really for male coaches as well. It's not just about a girls' club, and that's something that male coaches have had a little bit of a misconception about. Our goal is to bring education to all coaches to help them work better with female players. So anyone, even the women, anyone feel like that's something that they're interested in, getting better? I mean, if you're better at working with female players, you're going to retain more female students. The dropout rates are so high. In your own businesses, you probably have experienced this. My dad has a very big coaching academy in Australia. The dropout rate for my dad starts at around 10 years old to 12 years old, I'd say. What do you think, Andy? When's the dropout start for girls? No, well, this guy's a legend, so he wouldn't do that, right? Anyone else? AJ, girls, when do they stop? About 10 or 12. Anyone else around that level?
During puberty, they drop out a bit more.
Yeah. So I think it's for sure. And even for me, I mean, you know, as female coaches, there's some tricky ages coaching girls. 13, 14, 15 to 17, it's really tough. So what we've tried to do is put some content online where coaches can learn about how to communicate with female players, different things. If you tell a girl, just suck it up, it's probably not going to work that well. For example, I had to take Alex out of tournaments completely after she lost first round at the French Open. She played terribly. It was a match that she should have won. She was so nervous. And my thing was to talk to her more about what was going on outside of the court than inside of the court. Her personal life and all of that sort of thing is probably pretty much what I spend most of my days discussing with her, and a little bit about her game. Today, we are not only talking about WTCA, but you're all welcome to join as members. I'm talking about forehands, so the modern forehand. So I have to get my racket for that. So my opinion, maybe everyone else has a different opinion. The modern forehand is just a word for an athletic forehand that the racket head, I'll go behind you so you can see me. The racket head stays on the right side of your body. So typically in the olden days or long gone by, they had a longer swing, just have a longer lever. Now we're utilizing the stretch reflex to generate easy power, and so that's kind of the switch. So we're going to start by having this conversation, and everybody's going to join in, even though when I sit there, I don't say that much either. Sometimes I do. Tell me your favorite forehands on the ATP Tour. We're going to start with the guys' tour. So let's just shout out a few who we really like their forehands, and someone's going to start. Delpo, like Delpo. It's pretty, and he's got a pretty big swing. Federer, everyone loves Roger. Yeah? We're starting on the guys' side, so then we're going to switch back to the girls. Please. Yeah, he's a sensitive new age guy over here. Went to the girls. Pliskova, okay, that's a different swing. Keep it, stay on the guys' side. So we've got Del Potro, we've got Federer, totally different swings. I mean, Delpo's quite high and Federer's on the side. Anyone else? What's that? Fognini, yeah, he's got a good forehand. Kyrgios, anyone like Kyrgios's forehand? Rublev. What about Gulbis? Anyone seen Gulbis play? With this one? Okay. Delpo, what about Chorich? Anyone seen him play? I was going to stick him up there, or in England, maybe Borna Coric. Okay, he won Halle a couple of weeks ago. He's got quite a big swing that goes back a little bit behind him. Taylor Fritz. Yep. Rafa, I mean, it's amazing. Going to throw a few more out there. Alexa, favourite forehand on the ATP tour? So she loves Kokkinakis because she has an Australian coach, so she has to go with that. Okay, we're going to go over to the girls' tour. Yeah, let's go there. Favourite forehands on the women's tour? Stosur, yeah, that's a good one. Hers is pretty good. It's pretty good. I coached Sam for 3 years. We played doubles together, and her forehand was not good. It used to be a huge swing. Elbow went way back behind her, but we did a lot of work, similar work on what I'm going to show you today, what I have done with Alexa. So you see all those secrets. No, they're not really secrets. Everyone should know them. Outside of Sam Stosur, anyone else got any forehands that they like? Pliskova. What do you like about Pliskova's forehand? Effortless. Just, yeah. She's got exceptional timing. Okay, we're staying on the women's tour for a few more. I need 5. We got Stosur and Pliskova. Halep. She's done tons of work on her forehand. What do you like about her forehand? Yep, she does a good job. She does a really good job, really, with the rotation of her shoulders. It's something I know that Cahill has worked a lot on her forehand to try and get the shape on the ball and to push the player back. Another thing we'll talk about. We need 2 more. Oh, this is tough. What about Madison Keys? Anyone seen Madison Keys play? She hits probably one of the fastest balls on the tour. It's huge. It's a big swing. So then we're going to skip back, and I'm going to make everyone watch all of Krunich's videos. She actually has a completely straight arm forehand, which is unusual on the women's tour. So basically, she just drops it straight out the back, comes straight through, hits it with a totally straight arm. You look at Kyrgios, he's hitting with a bent arm on his forehand. Jack Socker's playing with a bent arm on their forehand. So there's all this discussion about playing with a straight arm and what should we be teaching the players. Jo Ward, unfortunately, is not here with us today, is she, Annie? She's not coming. No, she was going to come. So we have had some discussions. Has anyone listened to Jo speak before about forehands at all? No. Last week. So no one went to the LTA conference here. That's good. You're loyal to Andy and the PTR. One. Okay, so Jo talks a little bit about is it physiologically an advantage for women to play with a straight arm off the forehand. So I'm going to talk to you more on the girls' side about how I think we can help girls get bigger forehands, not necessarily shorter swings. Because it's true, if the forehand swing is huge and it's a great shot like Madison Keys, there's absolutely no reason to change it. So this is we've got to get involved as a team all together here. Are you trying to coach your female players to have a right side only swing? Hands up if that's what you prefer. Yes? Yes? Okay? Yeah? Definitely it can generate more pace on the ball, a heavier ball. Tricky a bit like, has anyone seen Tiafoe play? God, you guys got to watch more tennis. He's got an unusual forehand, but it's on that side of the body. So give me a few answers. Why do you want girls to play with the forehand off the right side of the body? Anyone? Less stress? Yeah. Easier to generate topspin. Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's a very important point, and I wasn't going to raise it. Well done. They're late on the ball. So it's getting back there. So Pliskova is able to do it pretty effectively because she does have it breaks at the back. It's a little bit longer swing. I don't have a video up there, but does anyone know who Robin Soderling is? Okay, so Soderling's forehand went back on the backswing to somewhere back there, and then he was still able to utilize the stretch reflex because that's the thing that we're all going for. So I want everyone to put their hand down. I know if you go on your knees, just stick your hand down on the ground in case you don't know what we're talking about with the stretch reflex, or put it on your leg. It doesn't really matter. And I want you to try slam your middle finger into the ground as hard as you can. And it doesn't really go anywhere, right? So then we just pull on it and you snap it. This is an easy way for you to explain to the kids because they don't always understand what they're trying to do. It's just to get the body on stretch. So it is true that even if you do take it back here, you can quickly get this stretch across your chest and get it through. But obviously, not everyone can coordinate that. And most of the players on the women's tour end up coming through not using the stretch, it's more muscle. A lot of my friends, I don't hit a lot, but a lot of friends will say you still hit the ball quite hard. I think it's a lie, but that's because I only play with the stretch reflex for power. And a lot of those female players used to play with a longer swing and they rely on being really strong in their body. So it's definitely easier power. But the number one thing out of this whole discussion that's important for females is not to call this forehand on the dominant side of your body an ATP forehand. So I am pretty vocal about this in social media because I think it's critical that coaches understand how they're going to empower their female players. Women's tennis is constantly compared to men's tennis. So we're talking about all these reasons that girls are dropping out of tennis. We're always cast as less than, not as good as the men. And so if we keep talking about, oh, the ATP forehand looks like this, it's not really an ATP forehand. It's just a forehand that's more commonly used by guys. That style of swing. On the women's tour, there are slightly longer swings. I don't know what the reason is. Perhaps Joe thinks at times it's to do with strength, and maybe that's true. I don't think there's enough research on that. It's definitely relevant. But it's also that the way that we're coaching it. So the coaches who have changed a few swings to the shorter swings, has it been difficult, or you found it pretty easy to get a female player, we're talking about females now here, from here to be on this side of the body swinging this way? Or has it been pretty straightforward? Pretty straightforward because you had enough tricks? Kind of depends. Is it to do with their athleticism probably?
Just if it's a habit, it's just always hard to change stuff that's really hardwired into somebody.
Yeah. Because you got to change the myelin, you got to change the patterns.
Or they'll do it in practice and then under pressure they go back to doing what is most familiar to them.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I had that quite a bit with Alexa, so I'm going to drag Alexa out and just talk about her for a minute. She's easy to talk about because she's a star. Alexa has played Fed Cup for Alexa Glatch. We'll give you a clap. Welcome to the PTRGB conference. Alexa has played Fed Cup for the United States. She beat Petra Kvitova in the semifinals of the Fed Cup. Pretty much on a court that looked like this, was it? 2-2. That's not bad. You've got to be able to play decent tennis. She's also had wins over Panetta, Sibylkova, Garcia, a lot of top players. Unfortunately, as we talked about, she's had a few injuries, and now I really understand the hips for females, and I'll be more cautious as I go forward coaching. So Alexa when I started to work with Alexa first day, she has an unbelievable backhand, great serve, returns well, volleys, everything, beautiful slice, but the forehand would be late because it was a huge swing, and women's tennis for the majority of the time is pretty flat, like fast through the court. So her swing was probably about that high. And then it would go over there somewhere. So it was a really long process. And what I was saying, it's not always a straightforward fix, especially for someone who's already, ranked 100 in the world. That's even more difficult. So I'm going to go through a couple of the drills that we did, starting from the service line. She's actually still injured, but I forced her to come and do this with us because I thought it was beneficial for all of us. So the first thing that I was trying to get her to do, I tried so many different things to get her to do this, and she was so hardwired the other way, because that's what she knew how to do. It was extremely difficult. Here's your racket. So I think when you're doing this, we have to start right at the first point is when the players get to this position, the first turn, I don't know, the unit turn, whatever you want to say. And the simplest thing that I feel like players can do is have the idea that they're doing a push-up against the wall. So if we would start on the service line here, I would always ask them just to turn and feel like they're about to drop and do a push-up against the wall so they know where their hands are, because they have no idea, because basically when you're doing a longer swing, your hands separate. They don't stay in this motion. You can also do it with a Swiss ball, but we don't always have a Swiss ball on the court. So it's just a really simple thing if you go for a push-up against the wall. We're going to start there with her warming up, and I'll just let you have a little bit of a look at her swing. It's pretty good now, but she's injured. No, it's really good. She's got a really good forehand. Then I'm going to get someone else out here who thinks that they need, later on, that they need to have a shorter swing on their forehand. I think, personally, I need a longer swing on my forehand. It's terrible. It's too short. All my friends tell me it's a chicken wing off the flick. All right, so basically, you're going to hit a few. Are you more nervous in front of all of these superstars or when you played Fed Cup semi? Or when she played Serena on Ash? I think that would be pretty nerve-wracking. I wouldn't even want to go out there. That's pretty scary. Okay, so I'm just going to let her warm up a few. I'll try and feed straight, so you just have a general idea on what her forehand looks like. Looks pretty good. Give you a few more. Don't want you to be nervous. Move you a little bit over there. Oh, she can't move, better not do that. All right, couple more. Good. All right, you got 2 more. Looks amazing. Okay, looks all right, right? Everyone think it looks all right? Anyone got any ideas on what we could still fix? Not yet? Or anyone got any suggestions already? She probably won't load today because she's got a cartilage damage and a slight tear in her hip, so she would probably load a little bit more. If you can cut out loading, yeah, so that's good. So you noticed it, she's just unable to load, so bad luck. Someone else will come out and load. So what was big for Alexa is it was so difficult for her to keep the racket, to get the feeling. Come over this way a little bit. Can you remember? I'm going to feed her a couple. We're going to go one then the other. Okay. Let's go for the old one. Wow, that was it. Can you believe it? It was really like that. One more. That's a lie because she's changed it now, but when it came up here, it then went to that side. And the elbow went back. But now her myelin has changed the path, and now it's completely on that side. So even with a huge swing, she's still dropping it through there. Whew, 6 years ago. 6 years ago. It took a long time. Yeah. It can be very hard to change. But as I did it, when I worked on this with Sam Stozer, which I did do a lot of it, the biggest problem Sam had, and has crept back into her game, was when she would turn, she wouldn't turn with the loading. She didn't get around. If you've seen her play lately, she's dropping really open. For Sam, her forehand was pretty much always on the right side of her body. But what she did, can I borrow your racket? She got really late for a different reason because she pulled the elbow right back behind her. There are a lot of players that Kyrgios comes from back behind his back and he can still get it through. But because she didn't load that well, she could never get it through and she'd hit every forehand with her elbow behind her body. So our main goal on her forehand was just basically getting into this first position well, and then her focus was to be able to get her elbow past her hip. That was just very basic. And over time, we worked more and more and more and more on racket head speed with different drills. Because even though she was strong, she didn't have very good racket head speed at the start. But we're not working on that today. We'll do that at the next conference. But she did have to work a lot on racket head speed. So you can use anything. Someone like Andy should invent a device, but there isn't one. What I did for Alexa to help her with her forehand was I just tied this to her arm. I tried so many things and honestly, nothing worked. These are the two main things that worked. So come up here a little bit. Okay, so what I wanted her to do, and of course, the focus where everyone goes wrong on shortening the swing is the first position. For the players, that's where they go wrong. So I wanted her to set herself up where she thought her hand should be. So we went with this kind of position of a push-up, okay? There's a lot of variation on where your hand should be here. Krunic has her hand really down low. I had a discussion with the head of Tennis Australia for women. They have their policy basically now anywhere between sort of hip and shoulder with the hands is where they want their first position to be for the forehand. So you can vary. I mean, obviously when it starts getting up here, this is really difficult, right? But it's individual to the player. You can't just say, okay, Alexa, you have to be exactly here. You have to have some degree of variation in where they're comfortable. So I wanted her to start around here. The biggest part of the problem that the players have in this sort of a dominant side swing is that when they go to make this movement, this elbow just keeps going backwards behind them. And that is the reason I tied this onto her, because I want to eliminate it, right? So I put her in that position, and several times I nearly got my head knocked off. So we wanted her to be there and this to be here. This is a bit elastic. Is that tight enough? Yeah. Okay. She won't be able to get it off later. She'll fly home to the States with that on. All right. And one thing, I want to make sure that her elbow stays, if you see, make sure it stays off her body. So sometimes she had a tendency to want to drop it in too early. Okay, so I'm going to pull her there. And so her only goal, God, this isn't tight enough, you don't want it this elastic, is she's going to swing forward, and I'm going to pull her as she goes to drop her racket head back. So go again. I mean, some of you have probably seen it before, that's fine, but we're doing it anyway. So she knows what she's doing now. Just make sure you get out of the way. So what you'll, because I didn't. A couple of times I went to pull off a really short thing and then I had to get my face out of the way. But when she goes back here, your only instruction to the player, all they're actually trying to do in this movement is to go like this with their racket head. And that's it. The coach is doing the rest of it for them. So then they can understand the feeling, because even though you have to coach to the way that the player learns, we can show them a video. Some people don't learn from that at all. So this is a kinesthetic way of them being able to feel the motion. So go one more. And she did it without me. Set up. So good at now. That's it. So she's just going backwards, because when they're actually hitting their forehand, when you're actually doing this, this does go back, but you're trying to create that the front half of your swing or your body is going forward, okay? So that one worked really well. Someone's going to come out and do that in a second. Has anyone got a long swing? Or have you all adjusted? No, you're all pros. Okay. So this, then you've got the swing on the correct side of the body. This is for sure the best way to do it, in my opinion. Then we go with this small medicine ball. This is, I think, pounds or kilos? Are we pounds or kilos? This is 2 pounds? No. Does that make sense? 1 kilo. It's 1 kilo. That's 1 kilo too. And this is about half a kilo, this ball. So I would always go around and watch all of the players when I was young, and this is what the French did. And a guy actually wrote his whole PhD about this medicine ball being the best thing for players to get racket head speed. His name is Cyril Genevois. He's a French guy anyway. He's worked with all those top players that are playing right now. So the whole goal on this, with this ball, is to focus on the forehand going one hand. So everyone does a lot of medicine ball, but it doesn't really help the forehand. Like, it really helps with the loading, what we were talking about before, but it doesn't really help with this fast motion, just using this side of the body. So you just want to get the player to fire this medicine ball off their right hip. Okay, you go. Good. And you want them to make sure that's it. But I don't know if you can see that, but it's spinning under. So what you want to try and get them to do, same thing we're trying with the forehand, is to close. So we want her to spin over the top. Good. All right, who's going to come out and do this with Alexa? Someone? Okay, anyone who's... Stick your hand up in the air if your name starts with T. S. There you go, pal. You're in. What's your name? Steve. Steve. Good to meet you. All right, you and Alexa are going to fire this at each other. Just, yeah, both at each other. Basically, they're just going to keep going. Yeah, basically, we're just trying to use no backswing and just trying to create a quick, well, there is a backswing because there has to be a stretch. But the focus is always focus on the forward part of the swing. So I'm going to give them an easier one after this. When you do medicine ball, you should do light. And Kovacs was talking about this the other day. If you go too heavy, you can't get the power. Okay, go one more with that. Exactly, the speed. Good correction. Here you go. Chuck that one in there. Throw me that one. So this is much lighter. We're trying to get them just to create a little bit of a stretch on their chest and really fire it forward. There you go. Okay, they're doing a pretty good job on that. Okay, one more. Okay, that's good. You guys are pretty awesome. Okay, so those two actually are the most. Do you want to actually hit some after as well? You can have a rest just for a minute. Yeah, so then we can work on the drills. Those two are actually, before you start doing the forehands, those two are the most important, from my opinion, on how to get them to do that stretch reflex on their forehand. You can go with a heavier ball like this. That one's just a little bit easier, but sometimes it's hard for people to figure out how to turn it over. So I can throw that one at her. Go. Same sort of thing. You're trying to get them to feel that they're hitting off the right side. If we go with this medicine ball like this, and we throw it straight like that, that's a terrible throw. Let me do that again. Go again. You throw at me. If we get them to do both hands, of course we get them to do this good first position. And sort of, if they've played rugby, they kind of understand a little bit how to turn it over. But I'm Australian, so we're no good at rugby, so you have to cut that out. Then they can sort of understand how this motion happens on the forehand. So here we go. She's going to hit a few balls now. You ready for that? Not too injured? Okay. So how did we change the swing? So we started at the service line. So I'm going to just go through it from basically start to finish. First things I did with her, this is a couple of different drills because she still didn't quite understand how to keep the hands on this side of the body. I think this is the most difficult thing for the swing. Once you can keep them there and then you get this pulling motion and you can feel it, then you've got to be able to hit it. So I started basically on the service line. And I said, put your hands, just start them on the side. So I wanted her to start from there. And I just gave her one instruction over and over, start there, to just think about going forward because they're already going way, 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 way back. So start her there, forward. Good. And again. Not everyone likes stops in the swing. But all we're trying to do is isolate the fact that we want to recreate that thing that we just did before. So start there. Good. And again. And it's a win when I've done this with every single player that has had a long swing in the past. The next day they'll say they're pretty sore in the chest, which is good because it actually worked. But then also as coaches, when you can see that this is working and they're able to get that swing, be careful on the first couple of days until they're getting used to it because they're going to get really sore across the chest and then they won't really be able to do that much. Yeah. It's a stretch across your chest. So you'll notice a big difference. Start them really basic. You're not going to start them on the baseline and be able to do that. You will, of course, have your own process on how you want to do it. But with every player that I've switched them to a shorter swing, I don't know how many, good competitive players. At the moment, I coach more competitive players. I have coached in a club a lot, but not right now. Probably 30 players at least on the same thing, girls, good girls, is they have to start on the service line. So that's a first basic instruction. So we start. Go again, just a couple more. Oh, not very quickly. For my opinion, I mean, maybe you can start with the weight transfer, just a little bit of, just a small push into the ground. Yeah, just a little push into the ground. Most of the people that are playing with this longer swing, boys and girls, that's the only way that they can really hit the ball is from a weight transfer. I mean, their transfer will be out of rhythm for sure because this is a different swing. So it's a good question. It gives you that little bit of a nudge forward. So it starts at the ground. Yeah. Can you do a little off the ground? Okay. We'll advance her a little bit. So she's going to start on the side again. Okay. Guess what? That's been one of the hardest things for Alexa. Even though we identified loading and definitely her hip is not very good, that is one of the hardest parts of the swing for her. So that, I mean, she's not doing it anyway, but it's something we constantly have to work on because she never did it well and no one corrected it very well. So this brings to the next part of this swing. So set yourself up again. When they're trying to do this, one of the things that people will start to do and what she did to create this forward movement this way, they start to pull this shoulder out of the way to bring the racket through. But it's counterproductive because of course you have to pull a little bit, but you're trying to go out with your body weight and you're trying to push forward. So a good way to engage this left side of the body, stick your hand out, is for them to actually push against you a little bit so they feel a little bit of tension on that side, because otherwise you might see this hand just fly away. So just before they're about to hit, if they just push a little bit, it helps them. But the drill that we've done a lot in this situation to engage that side, ready to go, you're just going to catch it, all right? It also helps with the spacing. It's not just the swing being on this side, you also have to work on the spacing, so it's like a big picture. All right, ready, catch that one. Good, now just throw it away. Go again. So, hands up if you've done this before with your players. Okay, good. Okay, go again. Good. Obviously her loading's not going to be great. We're going to do 2 more and then she's going to advance it. Make sure that when they stop and grab that ball that this hand is not going right over there. They're just going to grab it and keep to that position. So now we're going to grab it and you're going to drop it and hit it. So that is pretty much when you can then, from my view, you can start to talk about going forward, because when they grab it to go forward, they have to create the power from somewhere. So I didn't even think about when I would incorporate that. Yeah, I would introduce it now in that period. Yeah. So now when she catches it, she's going to grab it. Okay, drop it. All right, go again. Drop it. Is that Pow Pow? My dog's over there. Has anyone heard him yet? Ready? Grab it. He likes tennis balls, so he's listening to her hit. Okay, one more. Grab it. Stop. Yep. And then as when they're in this position, and then you really have to talk about when are they going to swing forward. So I'm going to just talk to her like she's playing. Okay, ready? So catch it. Drop. Push, 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 push. Okay, so when she's going to try to go, when we're thinking forward with all the racket, you want to start the forward thought with the foot. So when they're here, you're going to think forward and go, forward comes from here. Forward's not just coming from here. So you want to start with this foot. So now we're going to get her to focus on the foot. So she's going to catch it, drop it, push, push. Good. So she's going to get a little bit of push off, focus the racket on going forward. Nice one. All right, who wants to come out and hit a few? Lex, you just have a little rest. We're going to do it with someone else. Going to have to go through the alphabet again. All right, AJ's in. All right, they're doing substitution on dog duty. There is a dog in that bag, and it's not animal cruelty. He really does like that. So we're going to give AJ a couple warm-ups here. He hasn't been hitting any balls. So we can see he's already really on that side of his body. Nice. Why aren't you at Wimbledon? Why are you here? All right, let's talk about AJ. What does he do well? Start with what do they do well. Of course, we can pick everyone's forehands apart, all your players, especially with girls. If they've played tournaments on the weekend, first thing we want to be saying to them is, tell me 2 things that you did well. Girls are hypercritical. They're always judging themselves because we're highly judged by society and there's a lot of social pressure. So I'm going to ask AJ, because you guys think he does everything well. Tell me 2 things that you're doing well. We're going to give you a few more balls. All right, ready? Nice. Okay, I'm giving you 3 more. All right, what are you doing well, man? Everything. Yeah. 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 2 things he does well. Someone's got to give me something. Good at staying on topic. All right, he's got really good extension because he does do pretty well on staying on this side of the body. So how, with you, this is off topic. How would we generate more pace? Anyone got any ideas? Where is he losing power? Flies away, doesn't it? Yeah. So we're going to get you to do the drill, right? Good. Here we go. You're going to catch it. You're going to drop it. It's going to be tricky. Wasn't going to talk about this at all, but we're going to talk about it now. Oops. And see there, he got his racket through by pulling it away, which is fine. We've watched Nadal. Where's Nadal finish? Here, when he's going forward in the side of the arm. So that's something that you can use for players because a lot of players want to do this to go forward. But we want them to go this way. They can catch it. You can definitely use, who uses catching the racket? I think catching the racket's okay. Catching the racket can kind of stop people because they're stopped here. The one that I think that actually does work the best is when you tell them to hit in the side of their arm and to get this elbow forward. That's going to be your job. We weren't talking about girls' forehands. You want to stay in or back? All right, here we go. He's going to go 3/4. Sorry. Here we go. Good, good, good. Good. Nice, man. All the way back. All right, this is an interesting forehand, actually. It's a good one. Good ball. There you go again. What's this court like to hit on? Are you a pretty defensive player? Yeah. Okay, so he likes to play off the back foot a lot. So that was part of this conversation about female players. You got to stay in, don't go anywhere. Alexa was part of USTA's, all their, superstar program. They all wanted her to play like Pliskova and go forward. And they wanted her to step into every ball, and it just was not her style. So when you're working with players, we're talking about if we want girls to start hitting forehands like this, it's got to fit inside of their personality. There's no point you would never change Pliskova's forehand, even though her forehand could be better, to a heavy forehand to push someone back, because that's not even why she started playing the sport. You have to coach people to their personality. Alexa's a more low-key, relaxed, likes to play tennis like Murray. I mean, everyone loves Murray. I love Andy Murray. But she likes to play like this cat and mouse, and they say, well, her body's not made for that. She's not small and she's not this. She's big and strong, big serve. She should play first strike tennis. But then you'll lose them to the game. That's not even why they want to play tennis. So what we did with her game was we wanted to create this heavier ball with the faster racket head speed because it fit into the way that she played tennis. You see AJ down there, is that how you like to play? You like to move someone around and play around with them a little bit? So you can see straight away, okay, he plays kind of open stance, lays back a little bit, probably rips a few up higher. This is how he likes to play. So there's no point telling him, we're just going to tell you to step in and smash everything. So he does pull his arm away a little bit early. But because he's playing a long way back and he's trying to play a higher ball like this, my forehand was too fast for you. No, here we go. Go again. Yeah, good. And then he can, if you want him to go forward, he's going to come forward off a much more open stance. So not everyone has to step in. It's not one size fits all. If it was AJ, hands up who thinks that it's a major issue, this arm. Would you change it as coaches? I'm going to give you a little bit more of a look. Nothing wrong with your forehand. No. Go again. Here we go. A couple more. What do you mean? He's 23. All right? But he does, even though he pulls it, he does keep it kind of here, and he does balance pretty well. He's just a little bit back with his posture. Go again. But for a defensive kind of style who likes to work the point, it's not really a big deal. Move around. Good. So how can we get him to go more? We could probably get him to go a little bit more forward with his body weight. So this goes into, you can keep playing. You can have a rest because this one requires movement. This goes into another drill that moves on to keeping, and you also probably have seen this one, but we're doing it again anyway. Over here, how do you get players to keep the racket on the right side of their body when they go to the baseline? So that's going to stay about here. You're going to run now. You didn't know you were going to run. Get them to hit the forehand this direction, right? Because then they're playing here, and then they're playing straight through the line on the ball. Now he's warmed up. If they're playing cross-court on their forehands across here, they're all of a sudden, they're going to go for their longer swing. They're hitting across the other side of their body. Similar thing to when you're trying to get someone to stay sideways on their serve. You get them to serve here, so it's the simplest shot. The ball's going straight back where it came from. You're going to start with a drill. So we want them to try to go this direction, hands on that side of their body, but we're going to try to get them to go forward. Do you need water? I do. It's hot. Is anyone suffering like me with this no air conditioning? I've become American. Lived there for 9 years, and I think all I need in life is an air conditioner. Who's got air conditioning at home? It's called a window. It's called a fan. Okay. So you might have seen it, but you might have seen this with Nadal. Nadal does this drill a lot, but he's got it right up here for forward body weight, but we're going to use it just for the direction of the forehand and pull it back a little bit. We don't want to make it too difficult. So the timing of this, a lot in coaching, the timing of the feet is very important because otherwise the person can't do what you're trying to get them to do. So we're going to get AJ when he's going to go back. He's going to take it. As I see him move to here, I'm going to throw the ball. He's going to try to incorporate the push-off. So this is part of the whole thing. They all go together. He's going to do the push-off. And his goal, the reason we have this here, is not only for this recovery, but it's also as he's going to push, that he's trying to push off and get around the cone off that, or whatever you've got. I've got a medicine ball to push forward. Okay, you ready to go? See how he does. All right. So you go, start to move. Then I'm going to go here. Pretty easy way to get him to go forward. Go again. I'm going to give you 4. All right. That's all right. Up. All right. So now he's going forward. So from this corner, he's not going forward that much. So try to put the players in a situation where you don't have to tell them what to do. You put them in the drill and then they create it for themselves. So he's got the feel of doing that. How do you feel? Okay. We're not going to get, no one else has a long swing. So that's the only thing that's going to be hard for us to see me change someone's swing. So I'm just going to show you what I would do to change someone's swing. So now we're going to let you breathe. You all right? Legend. We're going to make him just a little bit more efficient with his feet. So you're going to start like basically with your toe at that one. Just go behind, just go 1, 2, and then just go forward. Lots of players waste so much time with all these little steps, right? Basically, you want to just take big steps and wide steps. If you're moving this way, or if you're moving this way around the ball. Alex, who I work with, Krunic, she's the fastest player on the tour and wastes so much time doing all of this movement, so she loses her balance. So you need to stay wide. Okay, go again. All right. Yeah, and then you're going to go bang. So the focus is the right foot. He has to push off the right foot and keep the hands on the side. Okay. Go. And again, you got to push off more. Come on, push. And again. Good. Okay, so he's not pushing off, right? So we have to give him a new instruction. He is pushing off, but he's here, and then he's hitting the ball, right? It's okay. You're going to get it. Yeah. So maybe we can push this a little bit further forward, but what you have to try to get the players to do if they're not pushing off, the weight transfer is basically from this baseline to this thing. So you want a long step. So we're going to make him stay at the back. So you might have seen or you might not have. He's moved really well around the ball, and then he crept up a little bit. He's already past this thing, and then he's hitting. So there is no space to transfer. So make sure they use if you've got clay or whatever, keep them at the baseline. He has to stay back, and then you have to keep this basically right foot pushing off from the baseline, okay? We'll see how it goes. All right, so stay back, go, come on up. There you go, that's better. Stay right back. And so you'll have to tell them, recover all the way back. They've got to get behind the baseline. Come back to the start. Okay, here we go. Push, push, push. All right, so once you get off your right foot all the way to the left foot in front of that thing. Come on, push, push, push. Even further, push off. Come back. Yeah, it's tricky. This foot's going to leave the ground, so he's trying to hit his forehand and his foot's still on the ground. If you're going to transfer, that foot's going to come off the ground. It's got to push you forward. Okay, ready? Let's go. Push off. Good. All right, and again. Really nice. Just doing 2 more. Okay, ready? Good. That's good. 1 more. From the baseline, up, 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 up. Again. 1 more. Push up, push. Good. So he did a good job there. What will we add next? You can have a breather. Girls, come on. What will we add next? What would you like to see AJ add next? A drink? Yes. So would he, but he's not getting one. What do you think? Why are we trying to hit this style of forehand with the hands on the right side of the body? What are we trying to create? Like the tactical objective. What's that? Direction, yep, for sure. But what is the ball doing? Why not just have the longer swing? Someone said it before earlier, the reason that you would change the swing to that side. Ripping, right? So his shot's going pretty flat from this side of the court. So he's doing this well, he's starting to do the transfer well, but the whole idea of why we're trying to keep the hands on the dominant side of the body, either side, is because we're trying to create racket head speed. So in this situation, how's your legs? It's a beast. I would drop the ball to him because he has to get the ball up and down a little bit quicker. It's going pretty fast through the court and he's getting stuck almost above the ball, okay? So you're going to set up. Okay, he's going to start at the baseline. Basically, when he's here, we want to make sure that his hand gets down faster. His hand's not getting down that fast. So we can tell him to get his hand down faster, or we can force him to do it, and we're going to stick him in a drill. So come up to the service line. So with my players, and the way I do it, I bring them up and down. Like they don't have to do everything at the baseline. If I bring him here, obviously he's going to have to hit the ball up. This is one of the things that I did with Sam Stowes. We played a lot off the service line so that she got this up and down on the shot. And obviously it worked out pretty well. I don't know if she's tired, but she's had a lot of injuries. That's why she hasn't been playing that well. Nobody really knows that. You never really know the inside, but that's the story. So we're going to get him to still hit that direction, I think. We'll see. So I'm going to drop down right in front of him so that we drop the ball pretty low. It's probably like one of the System 9 drills. You probably got this in there. Okay, so I'm going to drop it here. Good. Faster. Okay, again. Yeah. So we need him to go faster, right? So now we're going to stick, you've got to try it and see what happens. You don't want to go all the way here if they don't need to. So now you're coming right up next to the net. If I had a phone and other things, obviously I could show him visually, but we don't, so we're going kinesthetic. So I'm going to throw it right in front of you. You're going to go up the line. Okay. Good. Scoot back a little bit. Good. Again. Now you can drop from here, but you could get your face knocked off. Or you can drop from here. Go back a little bit, it's too hard. I made it too hard. Good, get it down. So what is he trying to do? Hold on to it. He's trying to get the racket down. He's got to get it down quickly. They've got to get the racket head underneath their hand. Okay, ready? Go. Good, again. Okay, but he's still got to take a full swing. So what he's got to try to do is get from here, even though it's here, to here pretty quick. So the ball goes up and down. And he might hit some in the net, might not, but we're trying to get him to get his racket head down. Okay? Don't worry if it hits the net. Just go fast. Get your racket down. Good. Go back a little bit. Again. That went up. Okay, so if they're really struggling and it's a cue, try to get them to be really vertical with the racket face up the ball to get the ball up. So they're getting down, they might get down and then they're going here. They're going to get it down and basically think about that they're going almost up the net. It's a very vertical swing path. Okay, go again. Good, and again. Slow down. All right, again. Okay, now build up your speed. Now he's hot. Okay, again. Good, again. Okay, again. Okay, go again. Go a little bit further out in front. Good. It's hard to get vertical from back, right? So he has to make sure that he's here so he can go this way. From here, he's getting through the ball, but he can't really get up. So he's got to make contact slightly further in front. Last three, and we're going to go back. Okay, ready? Nice. Again, fast. You got to get your racket down before you go forward. Down, then forward. Good. Down. Okay. And then push off your toe. Okay, that had spin. Now you're going to do it on the baseline. He's allowed to breathe again. It might take a while, but there's different discussions about whether it takes 50 hours, 10,000 hours. For some people, they can get it really quickly, and for other people, they're not going to get the skill right away. I mean, that might be difficult for one person, but for him to transfer his weight easily, that was a pretty simple command. So we're going to try now to add, when you get around here, you're going to push. When you push, you've got to get your racket down and through, okay? You're doing well with the weight transfer. I usually give people on this, they're pretty tapped, depending on their fitness level, 4 to 6, because this is power. So if you just keep running someone round and round and round, they're not going to produce a very good shot. What's that? Pretty close. Do you think? Oh, lengthen it. Yeah, lengthen it. Yeah. I thought you meant like this way. So he's pretty much close with his stance from that side of the court, and he wants a long step. So if they're struggling to take a long step, even drop this further. But I mean, the further forward it goes, it's a little bit unrealistic. Okay, ready to go again? Okay, go. Nice. Watch out over there. Wait, that's our official welcome to you, Anne. AJ's pegging balls down. All right, you ready to go? Up. Really good shot. Okay, around. All right, so now we're going to make him recover right around this thing. Because when you're playing a forehand in a rally, if you're playing from here, you'll go forward, and then you would be recovering that way anyway. So you want to make sure that they finish the swing. If it's here and they're back, this is more of a natural movement, so you can keep going around the thing. You're going to do a set of 6, okay? So this is, again, what the beginning focus was. We're playing on this angle so that they keep their hands and their racket on the right side of their body. Okay, 6 balls. Let's go up. All right, and again, get your racket down, down. There you go. I'm going to tell him when to drop it down. Okay, ready? Down, come on. Good. Again. Come on up, down with the racket. Good. And again. 2 more. Push. Okay. Push and get it down. Down. Good. So you can see it's starting to get a little bit down, and he's starting to get that feel on the ball. So then that way he's able to generate more of a heavy shot. So you can breathe for a second. Does anyone else want to rally? Yeah? Let's go. Down there. Where are you going to rally? You can use that one. It's the AG special. Wait, you're not going anywhere. You're still playing. Oh, wait, it needs a water. No, I'm okay. I'm not doing the work. That's why I put you over there. So then obviously, why are we doing it? Why are we trying to create this shot? For a tactical objective, how to open the court. Time pressure. Tennis is just all about time, especially at a competitive level. Most people, when they're playing high-level competition, can move well. We'll let them warm up over there. So you've got to be able to apply time pressure. So if you've listened to maybe Craig O'Shaughnessy before, they're talking about the length of the points. They're quite short. But one of the things that people aren't taking from that is it's errors. It's more errors. So how are you going to? You've got to try to force people to make errors. And so that's why with the heavy forehand, you're trying to push them out of the court and force errors, or you're just going to get a really short ball. It's not just about bashing winners. All right, you two warmed up. So you're going to play a little competition against each other. So our goal is, even though AJ's going to run into the... You might run into that. All right, really easy thing that was just adding in along the line. Throw a ball out there, especially for kids. Gives them something to concentrate on, gives them a goal. If they just rally cross-court, they get bored and start thinking about all the other things that they want to do. If you stick a ball out there, you'll find that their rallying is much more accurate. Anything, you can put a cone. So let them warm up a little bit. Good. Good ball. Serve and volley style. Okay, keep going, couple more cross. So the guys are just trying to put a heavy ball, keep the hands on the side of their body. That's it. When the court's a little bit quick, okay, he plays on clay. So you can see it's quick, or you're going to a faster surface. Have them focus on the contact point, okay? Contact point, it cannot be late. It has to be here. There you go. That's it. So if you have to adjust your swing or whatever, know where your contact point is. And again, I don't have a racket, but I'll throw in. Here we go. Contact point. You got one more rally for warm-up. So if they don't know where their contact point is, you want to show them. Good ball. Okay, AJ, you're going to play defense. You're not going to hit anywhere. Okay, we're still on track. All right, so the goal is we're going to try to push him outside the line, okay? You don't attack. So as soon as your ball, don't worry about this one. I mean, you don't need it anymore. That was just for rallying. As soon as you feel like you've pushed him back and outside this line, you're going to go, okay? I need a racket so I can feed. Okay, ready? All right, you go. Here you go. Push him outside the line. All right? And AJ, you're just going to push deep. Okay, then through me. Yep, good. We're just giving you a target. Here we go. Good. Go again. All right, now move in, move up. Good job. Okay, again. Couple more. Here we go again on that ball there. Push him outside. Good, he's outside. Now look for a forehand. Yep, good. Oh, that's nice, AJ. All right, he's outside there and he missed it. Up. Good ball. Okay, last one. We're going to get it to work. Just push through that, hit through that. Have the other person just play through the middle. You only want this person playing outside. Nice moving. Okay, and again. He's doing a really good job of getting the ball off the court, but that's making it tough. Play through that ball. Okay, go again. Good. Here we go. Pull him outside. Yep, outside of the ball. Go. Yes, good. So when you go on that ball, you have to go early enough because you're trying to take time away. So you're trying to cut that ball. Last one. Go. Yeah, good. Come in, go. It was perfect. Didn't execute it, but it was perfect timing. Okay, we're going to move the guys to the other side of the court now, okay? So we're going to go slightly backwards to the same concept of trying to keep the hands on the right side of the body. Move over there. So can you hold that ball? Simple way again. They're going to play through this angle to each other, pretty straight. So you can feed to someone and have them with their hands staying on this side of the body and keep going through this way, all right? And then when they get into the rally, because you've got to move it on to live ball, a lot of people play inside-out forehands right over there, but we're just trying to get them to play straight through this line so they're keeping the ball going back where it came from and they can keep their hands on the right side of their body. Just a couple. So make sure you guys get to the side of the ball, okay? Space. Good. That's the way. Looking for that kind of push-up position, hands to the side. Good. Very good. Now you can see this way, when you feed it, I'm not going to feed it in. It allows them to get here so they're next to the ball and so they can shoot it right back where it came from, okay? So it's just a way that they can keep their hands on that side of the body in a live ball situation. All right, we're going for 3 more. No. Whoever hits the ball, the other one has to buy everyone a Starbucks. So there's a lot of pressure because we've got a lot of people here. Or everyone gets a free lesson with Andy. Great ball. Very good. Okay, keep yourself sideways. We're trying to push with that foot. Very good. Try to get it to go forward. Again. Watch out. So if we have them rally with each other on an inside-out forehand, all of a sudden they're over here and you're going to get a lot of that. Our goal is for them basically to keep their hands on the side of their body and play forward through this line. So it's very straight. Does that make sense? You would start it before that with a feed where they would just hit this ball here off a feed so they're straight. Then you're going to progress to hitting the ball onto a straight line. And how we actually use this forehand is to push them outside of the sideline and then to take the ball and take time away.